Hey guys, welcome back to the Spotlight here on rockstardreams.com. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties. The hack going on in the US is real. We got my man Dakota Gartner, lead vocalist and guitarist of Naked Walrus, on to talk about their new EP, Minus. Dakota, what's going on, brother?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on, Keegan. And I'm sorry that it took us so long to be here. I was telling Keegan that I was chomping at the bit to come and talk, and then we got hacked, man. I guess it gives us a little bit of time to think about it, but it unfortunately left you hanging, and I feel bad about that.
It's real. It's real. I thought it was just media headlines and it was a joke, but apparently Google Hangouts has been having issues since 2 o'clock today. So I don't know if our viewers at home there have had the same issues, but you know what? It can't stop good music. And Minus is a great EP, and there's some really good songs on here. So, Dakota, let's dive into the music, man. I also want to talk about kind of your new baby, Turnkey, and some other stuff you got coming down the pipeline here, because you're probably one of the hardest working dudes I've ever met in the music industry so far. So let's talk about Minus. I know you just released a new single. That's available now on iTunes. You just got the video out on YouTube. So for our viewers, be sure to check that out. Let's talk about that songwriting process, my man.
Yeah, I mean, this whole album was just a very unique process for us. It was our third experience recording and writing with our producer Curtis Douglas, who's a really amazing friend. We actually met at Coachella, which is just the randomest experience. We camped next to each other, and this back and forth of I'm an artist, you're a producer, so on and so forth, for a long time. And then we started working together and have collaborated on the process of what this band has become. And so this was really about us growing up and finding our true artist. And that's what Minus is kind of trying to depict, is the idea of, as an artist, finding your masterpiece and your muse is something that takes time. And so, you find that in our music video, which is actually a 2-part series, where we have this female artist who is in a confrontational experience, and she is seeking inspiration and finds it in Los Angeles, finds it in her city, finds it in her place. But, it's about the trials and tribulations that you will see in the next episode. And that's really what we're trying to do, is depict, the struggles that we go through in order to create our art. But then 2, trying to really get people to understand that we want you to scratch away the surface. I was telling you a little bit ago, and I'm kind of straying from what your initial question was, but our thought process with the marketing on this album is anti-boy band marketing, right? And how I would explain that is that we are trying to take people's minds away from the image of the artist and bring it to the art that we are trying to create. And so in everything that we are doing, whether it's our photos or our videos or our music, and then first our music, obviously, we are trying to create something that will make people think and make people excited about the process that we're going through, because that's what our true passion is, and that's where it lies.
Mm-hmm. I really dig the concept of the video too, man, where the actress is walking around. Whoops. Let me turn that volume down a little bit. Where the actress in the video is kind of wandering the streets of LA, checking out the different graffiti art installations, and getting lost in the melody. Dig that hook, by the way, man. It's definitely infectious. And I remember when we covered you guys back in December at Silver Lake Lounge, you had played that toward the end of your set. And when that hook came on, I'm like, this is a great song. So I'm really glad that you guys put this on the EP, and just love the overall feel of this record and the concept of the video itself.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you dig it, and I hope that everybody, is able to, put their own spin on the feelings and emotions that we drew upon in writing this music. Minus is a really special song, and to me, all of these songs are very special. I think that it explains the complexities of, you know, what we all go through in order to be happy. And it's funny because I say complexities, but it's called simple. But that's really kind of where we're trying to go. It's like it's this play on words. It's this play on actions. It's the way that we want people to grow with us. You know.
Well, you're moving in the right direction, man. Let's talk about Friction for a second too, because I really like the song on that. And you kind of mix it up a little bit. You got some variations. One thing I like is I can't say that every song sounds the same, which I think a lot of bands get stuck in that trap. And to your point, where you guys are trying to be anti-boy band and stay away from the same old chords or vibe of the record. I think you guys mix it up a little bit well. So what's the thought process behind Friction, and kind of where were you at, either headspace wise, or where'd you draw inspiration to write that song?
Well, first of all, the song's called Fiction, and I'm sorry.
Fiction. Excuse me.
It says Friction somewhere, but I've had 2 people say Friction. And
what a dick! Say the song right. Fiction.
It's okay. I understand. I kind of like the title Friction better. But yeah, Fiction. It started with the idea of it was this escape, right? Where I constantly feel at ease when I am at the ocean and when I'm by the sea. And so I was sitting thinking about writing the lyrics of that song, and really kind of drew upon the idea of kind of washing away these fears and anxieties that we all hold inside as we're going through real life changes. And so it's funny because you chose to talk about Minus and then Fiction, because in my mind, and we'll see if this actually ends up playing out, Fiction is the next video in the artist series, in that music video. And so Fiction is about losing it. It's about going insane. It's about having everything break down on you so that you can understand how to build yourself back up into something better. And so that's kind of where I want to take this video series, and in general, like where that song kind of, it was, it's the second to the last song. And it's really this idea of getting like your hair pulled out, because you have gotten to that point, and like every artist, every creative feels this, I think, at some point. This just like because you want to be there, but it just takes time, and that's kind of what it's all about. And that's why and we went into our slow song after that, Light, because of that, because it's about this like after every experience that draws out intense emotion or angst, there is this point of thinking back and like kind of taking a deep breath. And I think that's what Light really becomes. It draws upon the emotions that you have experienced throughout the album, and hopefully people will reflect upon how they feel about the whole thing. And so I'm glad you asked about that question, about that song, because that's a really great song. I'm really excited about people hearing that too.
Yeah, I really dig it, my man. I'm glad you brought up that point too, because I felt like as the EP tailed off to Light, that was almost like the redemption after Fiction, where you could kind of hear the angst and frustration within a Fiction, and then you get the Light, and it's kind of like you're turning the corner there, getting out of that gray area. You're starting to have breakthroughs as an artist, or personally in a relationship, or whatever it is you're going through. So I think it flows really well. I like the overall songwriting on it. Your guitar riffs are always on point. And I dig it, man. I kind of dig the vibe and the direction you're taking your music.
Thank you. And I mean, like, and it's not just me, it's the other members of my band, like Taylor and Hayden. We have been really, like, we're like brothers, and it has, in my opinion, translated through the music that we've created over the years. And then Curtis, our producer, is like, he's like the invisible member of this band as well. And you know, when we talk about the writing, I can't sit here and feel right without telling people like, hey, like my brother Curtis sat here and wrote these epic melodies and lyrics and you know, riffs with us. And so yeah, like I'm excited for people to hear this album, and I'm excited for people to in general grow with us, because like we love writing. And this is just, you know, like I've been saying, you know, it's really hard to release an album, because that's when people start to pick away the scabs, and they can make you feel really good or really bad, you know? But the process of writing is the real, in my opinion, where the real art is born, right? And so I'm so excited to start getting back into the studio to write our full length, which I hope to be out in, you know, summer of 2017. But yeah, like this EP is a great representation of us growing, and I'm excited for people to, you know, catch on or continue with us and go to the next step, because, you know, it's just the beginning. It's just us starting to bloom.
Yeah, stay the course, man. Keep writing, good things ahead. Shout out to Curtis. I think a lot of producers don't get enough credit, and it's so key when you're collaborating in the studio to have that chemistry, and you know, you're on the same page lyrically, and the overall sound and concept. So like the direction. And I think it's important too, Dakota, you know, to share your backstory a little bit, my man, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all about here at rockstardreams.com. It's not just the success itself, but it's the drive, dream, and everything it takes to get there. And I can see in your writing and the concept, what you're going with here. I mean, you're in the music industry, both as an artist and on the business side. For our audience, Dakota and I happened to meet at a music conference last summer. He was working with Vans Warped Tour and the team at Fort Feeney. Probably one of the hardest working dudes I've seen in action. You know, he'll go from working, you know, a 14-hour day to go in the studio or go play a gig somewhere. You know, it made a move from Phoenix, took the leap of faith, jumped into the pond that is Los Angeles and the hectic music scene there. And Dakota, you're surviving, man. You know, you're making it happen. You're staying the course. You know, so tell us a little bit more about your journey to get to this point.
Yeah, I mean, so thank you so much. Like, you're making me blush, bro. But
not to hype you up too much, but you know, credit where credit is.
Yeah, like I am just at the tail end of working with, you know, the genius of Kevin Lyman, the creator of the Vans Warped Tour, for the past 5 years. You know, I came out to California as a band dude, and went to school and was, you know, learning about the music industry, and fell into working on concerts, right, and working in production. And I was lucky enough to get an internship with Kevin Lyman when I was in high school, and kind of little by little, like, grew into a beautiful relationship where I was able to, you know, one, get a salary job right out of school, and two, learn from one of the people that I looked up to the most in my entire life, right? And so I just now have made this transition to deciding to not work for Kevin anymore. And it's not because I don't love Kevin or what we were doing. You know, we were creating this educational platform called the Entertainment Institute, and I think that it is a really beautiful and innovative thing. You know, it's there to teach people about how to get into the industry and get them connected with the people that are doing it in real time, you know? And but for me, I felt that I needed to follow my own passions, or I wouldn't be what I wanted to be in life, you know? And I think that that's a big thing that is written throughout these songs, but I think that everybody feels this way. And it's, you know, it's about following your dreams, rock star dreams, right? I had a rock star dream, and that was to be a musician and be a business professional, right? And I'm lucky enough to have really done a great job at, you know, like some people would say both. I think that I am working at getting to be a professional at both. And so for me to really create my rockstar dream as a musician, I needed to move on from that position so that I could really start to reconnect the musical dots, you know, and really focus on getting on the road, being in a band, doing that type of stuff. But that being said, I've created a new company called Turnkey Experience, which is a production company that is about filling in the blanks. I love collaboration. I love working with people in all different capacities of events. And so we are going to collaborate with people.
Our studio's falling down behind us. The hackers not only hacked our interwebs, but they also hacked our stage here. We're at a mixing stage at the home studio tonight. So let's keep this rolling, man. The only guarantee when we're live is that nothing will go according to plan.
But yeah, so like Turnkey is gonna be my hybrid of the things. Of the culmination of what I've learned over the years. And, you know, it's going to be a gradual start. Like, as of right now, I'm trying to be in this band, and I'm trying to really focus on connecting with people through the music that I create. But at the same time, like, I constantly work in events. Like, I just got done this last weekend. I worked with Brad Paisley. I worked a punk rock festival with NoFX and Bad Religion, and then I taught a class to 35 Japanese students about event production. So it's like,
that's awesome.
We all want to, in this band individually, we want to be multifaceted. We want to be entrepreneurial, and we want to show people that it takes hard work in order to get where you're going. And so that's kind of where, like, when you ask me like my background story, that's what it is. It's like, I'm just trying to work really hard so that I can create my dreams and make them into a reality and help other people do the same.
I think that's a really important perspective, you know, for our listeners out there in our audience. You know, some of you are emerging artists, or maybe you're doing internships, and, you know, you're trying to catch that break, and you got to stay the course. You know, it's not going to be easy, but you'll find that new opportunities and doors are going to open for yourself, you know, as you stay that course. So I certainly appreciate you sharing that, Dakota, and kind of what's going on in your world. You know, Vans Warped Tour has been a great partner to us. We had an opportunity to sponsor this summer. Had an opportunity to interview Kevin Lyman live a couple times too, to get his backstory and perspective, and that's all applicable. So for those of you listening at home, man, you're not the only ones going through what you're going through. You know, Dakota's been there, done that. You know, take away what you can and apply it where it makes sense. I think it's all relevant. So on that note, man, what's next for you? I know you got some shows coming up. You got some more big things on the pipeline. You know, what can your newfound fans on rockstarjames.com expect?
Well, you know, we've got the album coming out on November 11th, so that's kind of the start. But I mean, of the huge gunshot of us taking over the world, if I'm going to be honest with you. But that being said, you know, this week, actually, on Thursday, we're going to be pushing out another single. We've got a lyric video for our song Eyes, which is on Simple. And so I'm excited for people to check that out. And then obviously the album on November 11th. From there, we're doing a bunch of shows. We're really kind of trying to take over the West Coast because we live in California, and we want to get everywhere over here where it's affordable for us to get there because we're an unsigned band. And really just going to be hitting that really hard throughout the entire winter. And then, like I said, we're writing. And so we've got a new album that is on the horizons. You know, we've got about like 10 demos written already, and we'll probably write 10 more before we really choose what's going to be the album. But we're excited for that. But yeah, like, I mean, you know, we've got vinyl, we've got new shirts, we've got new videos, we've got new content for people to see, and I'm just so excited to share it with the world. You know, like, the anti-boy band concept, you know, it's not that I don't love the Backstreet Boys. Like, I can probably sing every single Backstreet Boys song, like, verbatim. But what I'm saying is, I just think that people have gotten too attached to the image when it comes to music. And I really want to, with my artistic project, do something different. You know, I've taken too many band pictures when I was 16 where I was like, you know, like that. And so that's why I put things in front of my face. And, you know, maybe we'll wear masks during some of our shows, and, you know, we'll do these videos artistically, but it's all for our fans to just be able to be excited and think about something a little bit more in depth. And so I hope that people will go on the journey with us, because I think we're pretty cool guys.
I'll co-sign that, my man, and cheers a beer and throw back a shot of whiskey, because you're definitely a down-to-earth, genuine dude. I think the music speaks for itself. Guys, please be sure to download Simple. It's available now on iTunes. I put a link to the pre-order right in this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on our Spotlight page on rockstardreams.com, it's going to be right above the video. So support your local music. Check these guys out. Stay tuned for tour dates. Dakota, really appreciate the time, man, you being with us. Our stage is crashing down. Google Hangouts is being hacked, but you know what? The Cubs are in the World Series, and Dakota, Gartner, and Naked Walrus are making great music. Thanks for being with us here on the Spotlight on rockstardreams.com.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Keegan, for having us, my brother.